China's Communist Party has formally moved to consolidate the authority and power of President Xi Jinping. An historic resolution, only the third in the country's history, has been passed declaring that the party leadership is the top priority. And Mr. Xi is widely expected to secure an unprecedented third term as China's leader.
Senior Chinese leaders have wrapped up a pivotal plenary in Beijing. Like most meetings of China's Communist Party elite, the four-day meeting has been held behind closed doors. The centerpiece is a historical resolution, reviewing the country's major achievements over the past 100 years. The meeting has upheld the authority of Xi Jinping as the core of the Communist Party, cementing his place in history. The party has only passed two such resolutions before. The first endorsing Mao Zedong in 1945. The second Deng Xiaoping in 1981. By moving his own historical resolution, it's speculated that Mr. Xi is setting the stage for an unprecedented third term in power. While there's been no official media coverage of the discussions, state news outlets have been filled with celebrations of Mr. Xi's achievements over the past week. He's been lauded for controlling the pandemic and its economic fallout. But critics say Mr. Xi's tenure has also been marked by a crackdown on dissent in Hong Kong and Xinjiang, as well as an increasingly assertive approach to Taiwan and foreign relations. Just hours after pledging to work with U.S. President Joe Biden, Mr. Xi has warned of a Cold War relapse in the Asia-Pacific.
要坚持向前看，朝前走，反对歧视性、排他性做法，以意识形态划线，搞地缘政治小圈子，终究是没有前途的。亚太地区不能也不应该回到冷战时期的对立和割裂状态。
Analysts say his remarks appear to be a thinly veiled rebuke to American efforts to strengthen alliances in the region.
To Olivia Seong now live in Beijing. Olivia, what is Mr. Xi's next step anticipated to be in consolidating his hold on the party?
Well, all eyes will next be on that all-important 20th Party Congress, which we have now received confirmation following this sixth plenum that it will take place in the second half of next year. And President Xi is expected to cement his position and leadership then when he is more than likely to be granted a third five-year term in power, which is unprecedented. And this comes after the party pressed ahead to remove the presidential term limits back in 2018. And now with this historical resolution that has just been passed at this key party meeting, that provides the justification for President Xi to go ahead with this. Now, one analyst I spoke to summed it up like this, that if you are able to control the present in China, you're also able to control the past. And by controlling both the past and the present, you will be able to control the future. And this is why this historical resolution is so important for President Xi. It's only the third time in the party's 100-year history that such a resolution has been passed. The last one was 40 years ago. And a resolution on history is essentially one of the most important documents in the Communist Party's hierarchy. And that's because it provides an official narrative and a binding judgment on how the history should be viewed. And so in 1945, we saw Mao Zedong criticize his rivals and consolidate his power. And that was just 4 years before the formation of the People's Republic of China. And then we saw the second historical resolution being passed in 1981, where Mao was criticized for the errors of the Cultural Revolution, as well as then we saw Deng Xiaoping, then paramount leader, then set the stage for reform and opening up, which has led to the meteoric rise of China and how it has been transformed to the world's second largest economy today. And today, in the communique that has been released following the sixth plenum, we have seen that it stated that this historical resolution is necessary to start a journey towards building a modern socialist country, which refers to China's second centenary goal, which it aims to achieve by 2040. 2049, which is when the Communist Party expects to mark 100 years in power. And we saw in the communique, the resolution talking about the achievements of China's past leaders, Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping, Jiang Zemin, Hu Jintao. And now with this historical resolution being passed, President Xi Jinping elevating himself to that level, also speaking of the kind of power that he has amassed during his terms in power so far. And the emphasis, has been on what the party has done right. And President Xi clearly front and center of this. And looking into the future, we have also seen, this communique stating that the Communist Party needs to continue to remain in power. They also need to rally behind President Xi, calling on people to rally behind President Xi to ensure that the country can move ahead and continue to develop. And we have seen the communique stating and crediting President Xi for the past achievements, for the country's past achievements while being in power, whether it comes to the reform of the party and being victorious in wiping out corruption in the party, or whether it comes to the economy, military, the environment, or foreign affairs. And all this setting the stage for President Xi to get that third term in power, possibly rule for life if he so wishes. Although we have to caveat that in politics, anything can happen, and there's still 1 year to go before that party congress.
Olivia Seong in Beijing. Thank you.